Hey everyone, welcome back once again to On the Couch with David and Travis.
So we just watched what, I guess I wouldn't call it the pilot because I think this episode and the second one constitute as the pilot, but this was episode 1, Angel Attack. David, what did you think going in just fresh and clean?
I thought it was fine. I think like you said, there were certain parts of it that are like, okay, maybe something's a little more is going on, but mostly it was like a serviceable entry to a series. Like, I don't think it was amazing, but it gave me enough to like still be interested in what's coming afterwards.
My reaction to rewatching the first half, maybe 12 minutes, was this is completely unremarkable. And that's what's hard to recommend this show, is you watch this and you could watch this and just think, okay, this is Digimon. Or more appropriately, I suppose this is Gundam or Code Geass, but the show is very clearly not. Which I wonder, again, and this is something we're going to be constantly discussing, is how these, because it's almost like watching two different shows at a certain point. And it's how these opening parts connect to these later parts. And for the most part, it is just a generic pilot, pretty much. A lot of it is spent expositing what the world is. You know, we have this organization. We don't know what angels are, but we got to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the characters, but we didn't really even get a lot of the characters' names in this.
Not too many.
But this is something I want to bring up too. We are watching the English dub. It varies for me for shows. A lot of people have a preference either way, just in general. But I like to go with whatever I think has the more appropriate actors. And with some shows like Kill la Kill or Fooly Cooly, I think the Japanese actors fit it much better. But something like this or Space Dandy, particularly this, I guess maybe it's an American thing, but we're very much used to, when you have 14-year-olds, which the majority of the cast is, you're more used to it sounding like an 18, 20-year-old.
Yeah.
So when you have a 14-year-old that actually sounds like a 14-year-old, it's just a bit of a clash, I guess, to the ears. So
yeah.
We're going with that. But there are a few things I noticed that make me think maybe... And there's evidence that shows that this was an accident. I'll get into that later. I don't want to say everything now. To say, we had one thing in mind, and then we completely changed what the show was halfway through because of extenuating circumstances. But I saw a few things that tipped me off that they may have had the grander scheme planned from the very beginning. It's just small stuff.
Okay.
The first thing that comes to mind for me is a big question in this show is, why is Shinji the one who can pilot this robot?
Yeah.
Why is he the one who's the best at it? And more specifically, in this episode, why is he the one that makes it move before he's even inside of it?
Yeah.
And in a lot of shows, it's, okay, he's the chosen one. He can do it. He's Ash Ketchum, whatever. But, and I don't want to call it a twist, but there's a very important plot reason why he's the one who can do it. And it's not really foreshadowed here, but the fact that they've sort of started bringing that up here, I think, is an important thing. Another thing I noticed was, did you notice when he was originally on the phone in the beginning, he looked quickly and there was like a 1-second shot of a girl standing there? That was Rey, and the girl comes in later.
Yeah.
And another big question of the series is, who is Rey?
Okay.
And by having that sort of disjointed moment, it sort of starts in your mind thinking, what's going on with her? What's her story? She's obviously not just another person in the crowd.
Yeah.
And other than that, those were really the only things I noticed that sort of... And even then, it's not much. It's just planting the seed in the very beginning. But it's there. So I can't say it's not there. I can't say don't watch the pilot. I can't say don't watch anything. Because I think there's important information given here that you need to know. But that's kind of what it is. It's all information. There's really no character. And that's a downfall.
Yeah. I think part of the reason why I like this so much right now is because I just love looking at it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's like, I love that, like, 90s, you know...
I think it was 1994.
Yeah, that 90s style animation, like, the style of drawing, where it's much darker and has a lot of shadows in it, for some reason, that's just really eye-catching to me, and it's something that I really enjoy watching. So, this form of animation, I think, is really interesting and fun to look at. Just the way that they do it. Like, in details.
It's weird because you can tell it's not the most expensive animation. It doesn't have the most money put into it. But it's still surprisingly detailed in a lot of parts with, like, the explosions. And I noticed the part where the angel sort of punches that missile and it wraps around his arm is very detailed animation. And I guess that's another thing to talk about that's sort of starting these other sort of disconcerting feeling is the design of this first angel. It's one of the more basic that we're going to see. But it's still very strange to look at.
Oh,
it's, How would you describe it? It's like a plague doctor mask, I guess.
Yeah, it's anthropomorphic, so it's got those it's got legs and arms, but like the arms come out from like its head is below its shoulders, right? So and it also has like this pulsating red orb or something. And it has a mask, but a face, but maybe it's two faces.
I don't know what its name is. They're all biblical names to tie in. And we're going to have to address the whole religious symbolism imagery thing at some point, but I think that's for a later time. I think it's like Sakiel or Ramiel. They're all Bible-y names.
Yeah.
But that's an important element too. And I think it looks interesting. It looks original. It doesn't look like anything I've seen before, which is a whole thing with these angels. They all look... There's no way to describe them in a unifying way other than angel because they're all just so different in what they are.
Okay.
But I think it was smart for them to start out with one of the more basic designed ones just to sort of lure you in. I'm trying to think of what else to talk about. One thing I appreciate with this show that you don't always see is I like that they keep the Japanese names. You know, instead of changing it to like Mark and Kelly and stuff like that, like you do with Digimon. Or I'm going to be comparing it to Digimon a lot, I guess. And I'm trying to think... I think when this aired in America, it aired on Adult Swim. I'm not sure.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Or Toonami or something like that. But I'm happy that with the dub they stuck. I think it might... I'm not sure. It might be Funimation that did the dub for this.
Funimation did, yeah.
Did it say that?
No, but I remember reading about it.
Okay. And that's interesting because they're usually more resilient to those kind of things. They want to sort of, make it as
Americanized as possible.
Widest appeal as possible.
Yeah.
But I guess they knew going in this was not going to be a wide appeal show. It was going to be more of a cult thing.
Yeah.
So they kept it as is. They keep a lot of the swear words, not all of them. But yeah, it's unremarkable. It's not the kind of thing where you watch this. I think the Avatar pilot, comparing it to that, is much, much stronger.
Mm-hmm. I think in this episode, there's less characterization with a lot of the characters because there is so much that has to be explained.
Well, I mean, what do we know at this point?
Yeah.
Shinji has a bad relationship with his dad. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what do we know about his dad? Nothing. What do we know about Shinji? Nothing. Misato, who is one of my favorite characters. I love Misato. But what did we get from this episode? She's just like a flirty girl, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
They subvert this a little bit because they establish right away she's the captain of a military organization, which is somewhat uncommon for this kind of thing. But other characters too, we saw like Rey didn't have a single line. Ritsuko was in it for a few seconds, but we really can't use any personality traits to define any of these characters at this point.
Yeah. Whereas with Avatar, it was, and I think it's because they have a simple, easier task of like being like, this is the goofball, Katara is the responsible one.
But it goes even deeper than that. You watch just that first episode of Avatar, and you understand completely who Aang is, and you can start to think about, okay, what would Aang do here? What's his motivation? And with Katara and Sokka as well. And you simply do not get that here.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't think it's a very good pilot. I think it establishes what it needs to. And I guess the second part is the pilot, too, so we'll talk about that. But
it was fine.
Don't be surprised if you're watching this and you're just thinking, meh. Because that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
And as, again, saying this is my favorite show, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah. All right, we'll see you next episode.